Good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon, classmates. Today we will discuss education during the Spanish time, presented to you by Group 2. Next slide, please. Filipinos were relatively uneducated until the late 19th century. Education's purpose was largely to evangelize Filipinos and to set up a strict social order in favor of the Spaniards. In spite of attempts at barring the natives from education, some Filipino called ilustrados were able to seek education, according to Igaya 2011. Education was largely religion focused, with the priests taking the lead in converting native populations, in essence, evangelizing and thereby promoting assimilation, particularly during the early years of the colonization. The curriculum was based on Christian faith and doctrine, strictly regulated by friars, and there was limited space for other secular views, according to Cantong 2013. And aside from being used for religious ends, education also served as a way to secure the status of Spaniards and limit entry for Filipinos since it was mainly reserved for the children of Spaniards and the local elite or the Principalia. This further perpetuated social inequality, and the main purpose of education was to reinforce the already immense power of the Catholic Church, basically Spain, and give priority to religious education over the complete development of students. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
Let's
So
have
now let's
Jillian
talk.
for the content.
Ayan. So now let's talk about the content or the curriculum that's used during Spanish colonization. During the Spanish colonial period, the educational landscape of the Philippines underwent a fundamental transformation. That initially traditional forms of instruction prevailed with parents acting as primary educators and tribal tutors imparting vocational skills. However, with the advent of Spanish colonization, the curriculum shifted dramatically, which heavily influenced by Catholic priests and missionaries, and this new system prioritized religious indoctrination, though it also incorporated some vocational training. And the dominant element of the Spanish era curriculum was the religious education. With at its core, this involved the teaching of Catholic doctrines, with Spanish missionaries focused on evangelizing the Filipino population and instilling Christian values. This instruction also encompassed various aspects, including the learning of prayers, catechism, the significance of sacraments, and the narratives of biblical stories. And to further reinforce these religious teachings and impart moral education, sacred music and hymns were also utilized. And there are also basic literacy skills such as reading and writing that were primarily taught to enable students to engage with religious texts and facilitate basic communication within the colonial administration. And while history was included in their curriculum, it was often presented from a Spanish and religious perspective, which emphasized that Spanish achievements and the narrative of colonization as a civilizing mission. And also, the Spanish language itself was also a key component that deemed crucial for integrating Filipinos into the colonial system. And another curriculum or content is the vocational courses, which characterized by gender-specific training, in which practical skills were taught to prepare students for their expected roles in society, and boys receive instruction in agriculture, reflecting the agrarian economy of the period, while girls were instructed in needlework and other domestic skills that's considered suitable for them or for women. Next slide po.
Furthermore, during the Spanish period in the Philippines, there were at least four identified methods in teaching that were used during that era. First, primarily they use dictation and memorization. So students have to memorize religious texts like the Doctrina Christiana through dictation and in front of the class, and the teachers would provide uh guidance on how to pronounce the words correctly and such. Instructions prioritize rote learning and overall analytical skills. So there's this quote from the Philippine Commission and the United States that I got from the Library of Congress in the US, and it says there that the Filipinos at that time were like machines. So we do not have the intelligent the intelligence for an independent thought. We're more like machineries because we're like photographs, like recorders. We only repeat what was said and taught to us, and actually we did not provide insights like new knowledge. So as that is a result of memorization. Second is authoritarian and teacher-centered approach. So we often hear our parents say that teachers before, the previous generations were very harsh, physically harsh, and it is true also during the Spanish era because teachers used a strict top-down approach and corporal punishment in that era was also common, and students had very little agency in the classroom because that time the classroom was a teacher-centered space and not a student-centered environment. Third is religious instruction. So, as one of the three main goals of the Spanish colony, religious instruction is one of their main priorities during their colonial period in the Philippines. So, aside from memorizing Doctrina Christiana, religious texts, and other and arts that are related to Catholicism, uh, incorporated also was the subject matter of religion in the classroom. And lastly is the use of theatrical performances in the method. So the Spanish used the arts, different forms of arts, to not only encourage Filipinos to accept them, but also as a means of integrating into the Filipino culture. And it is also the same is true for education. Religious lessons were taught through dramatization such as Moro Moro and Cenaculo, which reinforce Christian morality and colonial ideology. That's all for the methods. Next, please.
So next, now that uh, we have applications and contributions of the Spanish era to the Philippine educational system up until now. So first is the establishment of formal educational institutions. So before Spaniards came, we didn't have formal education. So Spaniards formally introduced to us this formal education to the Philippines, and they actually also built the first formal educational institutions, which are Colegio de Manila, which is for preparing young men for priesthood. Colegio de Santa Potenciana, which is the first school and college for girls in the Philippines, and University of Santo Tomas, in which still exists today, is the oldest existing university in Asia. So next po, we also have the incorporation of religious teaching. Of course, one of the main goals of Spaniards when they came to the Philippines is God. So when the Spaniards came, they introduced the proper form of education, which is led by religious leaders such as friars and cardinals. So during their reign, the Philippines, their main goal was to convert the native Filipinos into obedient and God-fearing Christians. So as a result, they incorporated religion into the education just for us to be converted into Christians just like them. So next po. So they also introduced the structured curriculum. So an article by VAM Spanish in 2023 states that the Spanish colonial rule brought significant changes to the education system in the Philippines. So they have introduced to us the curriculum encompassed religious studies, Latin, humanities, and mathematics. So when they have introduced to us or when they built the institutions, they also have implied or applied the structured curriculum, which has a set of subjects and has a set of standards. So they also follow the principle of Catholic Church, which is incorporated in the curriculum, further solidifying the impact of Catholicism on the educational framework. Up until now, we can see the Catholicism principles like the Makajos, the core values on our DepEd curriculum. And now, we also have this set of subjects that is still being taught in different courses and different programs in the Philippines. So lastly, next po, is the implementation of the 1863 Education Decree. So this decree was an effort by Spain to reform the Philippine colonial education system, in which we can still be felt now. So this decree established a complete system of education. It required 2 elementary schools, in each municipality, one for girls and one for boys. Of course, before the way back before, during the Spaniards, we are segregated from the genders. So standardized curriculum and established normal schools, which is like the PNU, which is training schools for teachers, thus making systemized education available to all the masses. So as you can see, we can still be feeling this now. It is still visible up until today, since we have now public education, public elementary schools, we have tertiary and secondary schools, which is provided by the education, which is provided by 1863 Education Decree. So that's all for the application and contributions.
Ayan, to formally conclude everything po for our insight, we have come to find out that Spanish colonial period had greatly influences the Philippine educational system. Back then po kasi, education mainly served as religious and colonial goals, focusing on Christian teaching and was mostly for the elites or sa mga mayayaman. And that created an inequality or an early inequality sa education. Kapag iko-compare po natin siya sa today, the Philippines offers a basic education and has expanded across through programs like K-12, but the colonial influences po still remains. May kita po natin na tinuturo pa rin yung mga na religious na subjects sa schools, and yung centralized structure po kasi ng DepEd is nag-mirror siya sa Spanish era. And yung inequality po, makikita pa rin po natin siya through rural students. Makikita po natin yung lack of resources and lack of quality education. So in short po, while education has improved, its colonial roots still shapes how it's delivered and who benefits.
So thank you for listening, and that's it for the Spanish education during their colonial period in the Philippines. Once again, thank you everyone for listening to our discussion.